Hey, what's up everyone? Brad Chmielewski here, and this is episode 115 of Shatter the Vain. This past week, Super Evil Megacorp dropped Vainglory Update 1.21, and I always like to do a little rundown episode going through the patch notes. It's a small one this time, so I think this episode's only about a half hour, unlike our hour and a half patch rundown, so hopefully we get right to all the changes, just discussing what's been happening in the game. So I grabbed SparklingRain, a little lesser known player out there, but he is someone who tests on the PvE quite a bit. Just wanted to get his insight. He's seen the heroes change and evolve a little bit, and kind of maybe what he's seen be popular in the PvE and what he thinks may translate to the live game. So Nivmet was also on an episode of the Undersprawl from the other week, so go check that out because he gave some insights into the balancing and the PvE team and what his role is there, and just all the testers and all the people that are working for Super Evil to make sure the game's balanced, and then all the people that are doing it for free because they love the game. Like, hats off to them. Nice job. So on this episode, we're gonna go through these changes. I also want to say we'll give some more skin away. Some more skin. We're going to show more skin on this episode. No, we're going to give them more Summer Party Fin skins. Leave a comment in the YouTube description here. So yeah, if you're listening to the audio version, sorry, you got to go to YouTube. Leave a comment below. And yeah, I'll pick 3 winners after like a day, about 24 hours after this video is up. I'll pick 3 winners, and there'll be more skins being given away on the YouTube channel. So hit that subscribe button. Is it down there, or is it down here, or just on the page somewhere? Hit subscribe so you see when videos go live, because we're giving away more skins. All right, let's do it. Let's jump into episode 115.
Shatter the Vain, a podcast about vainglory.
This is episode 115 of Shatter the Vain. My name is Brad Chmielewski, and this is a podcast all about Vainglory. In every episode, we're going over the news, talking about game tips, advice, and hopefully together we can become better players. And every episode, I'm bringing on new people from the community, and this time, no different. Not someone who's like in the spotlight too much, but definitely someone who's playing the game and been playing for a long time. I have SparklingRain joining me. Welcome.
Hey.
Good to have you on. We've known each other for a long time now. I know you just by Rain. Other people know you SparklingRain or Rain on the Roof on Twitch, right?
I'm sure there are quite a few people out there who know me, and as Brad mentioned, I'm not too much in the spotlight, but when I do play, I play with all heart.
Okay, and you've been playing a really long time, right?
I have been playing since the very first launch day in NA, so that would be November 17th, 2014, if I recall correctly.
Nice. Were you playing other MOBAs beforehand, or just this one happened to catch your attention?
This is my first MOBA. I was, like a lot of people might understand, it's something I picked up from the iPhone 6 keynote that year.
Yeah.
And it was so visually captivating and seemed so exciting that I figured I must jump on this bandwagon as soon as I can.
And now you've been like with it since, and you're like such a dedicated player too. That's awesome that it's like captured you so, I guess, so much.
Oh, indeed. It's been a thrilling experience, and especially meeting you and so many other valuable community members along the way. It's been a special experience indeed.
Yeah, and you've had a chance to like go to some of the meetups, like the New York one. I think there's another New York one in the works that I hear is going to be pretty good.
Yes, it's definitely being planned. From what I've heard, I don't know the details yet, so I can't wait for that to materialize. And the past events were also fantastic. Great people, great food, great community. I just found that when I play with people in person, it's really impossible to be salty.
Sure, yeah. Everyone has a different, I guess, when you meet them in person, everyone's online persona is totally different than their in-person persona. A lot of people's are.
Oh, yeah. Wouldn't you believe it?
Yeah. So I wanted to bring you on for this update rundown because you play a lot on the PB. I think you play more on the PB probably than you do on the main account or on the main game now at this point, right?
That would be correct. I would very slightly give the edge to PBE over live gameplay.
So you get to see a lot of crazy stuff. There's stuff that gets put in the PBE that doesn't see the light of day or gets tested and pulled back. So we won't talk about any of that. But does it feel like there are a lot of PBD updates that happen? Does it feel like your feedback's getting, I guess, listened to and tweaked, or is it just kind of a blind eye or blind ear kind of to it, or deaf ear?
I would actually say most of the feedback is listened to. The devs really do listen, they do care, and every time I send in an email about a point, I always get an acknowledgement in return. Even if they just say that we hear you and we will look into incorporating this.
So
yes.
And I know, I think, we'll run through the notes here in a minute, but yeah, it seems like sometimes the PB testers get, I guess, blamed sometimes for the bugs or the overpowerness of people like Lyra or Vox that come out. And that group is really small, the people that test all the time, right?
Oh, yes. It's something I realize when I switch between PB and regular gameplay. It makes it all the more obvious to me just how many thousands more people are there on live compared to PB, even though PB has expanded quite a bit in recent memory. So that just goes to show that sometimes the collective brain power of these thousands of people can really dwarf what even the best minds in PBE can come up with.
Right, yeah, because 1 hour on the live is almost the entire PB testing phase, the things that you guys end up running.
Oh, totally. And now that you've mentioned that, it's something that I'm glad that other people feel as well, because if you're by yourself in the PBE, you can feel that there's a lot of pressure to really figure out something good so that when the community gets the live version, it's well-tuned, balanced, and something that everybody can enjoy. Mm-hmm. And yet you still have things like OP Lyra or OP Walks going through, which we perhaps justifiably get blamed for sometimes. Yeah.
And
there's just such an environment. Sorry.
Yeah, and it's got to be hard to test weird things, right? Mm-hmm. When we had the Stormguard, rush, or even the Crystal Ardent thing that was a general bug. But testing weird things is even harder because you're playing against high-skilled people. So if you're going to go, a weird weapon Kashka build, it's it doesn't work because these guys know. And is that tough?
That is tough. Your mindset is constantly focused towards the higher tier of players. Like you mentioned, you won't try a lot of really new and novel things because you would expect that your teammates and your opponents would already know things at the highest level. So you just want to focus on getting the most direct and most high-level results possible.
Yeah. And then do you guys usually test, is it mostly just the normal map, the 3v3, or do you run Battle Royales too sometimes, just to mix it up?
We typically run 3v3 games because we focus on actually testing and finding balanced numbers that are a bit off. Mm-hmm. And for most of us who don't play a lot on the PB, there are some who play there almost all the time.
Yeah.
and for the rest of us, we just don't do battle royals very often. We would only do it for fun. And while that's happening, if by serendipity we discover that there's a hilarious number that causes great OP or UP results, that's all well and good.
Yeah. Nice. Cool. Good to get a sense of what's happening. I know Nivmet was on the Undersprawl recently, and he kind of touched on because he's the main person behind the balancing team or the PBE team at this point, so he kind of touched on it a little bit, but we didn't get to ask him all the questions that I think some people wonder what's happening behind the curtain. Well, cool. Should we go over these update notes and talk about some of the changes and what we're kind of looking at and what's going to shake up here in 1.21?
Sure thing. Let's do it.
Vainglory News.
So I think we'll save the skins for the end because I want to talk about Samuel first.
Sure.
So this is the new mage hero, the dark mage, that's now available to play. The patch dropped on Wednesday, so just recording a couple days later. What are your general thoughts on Samuel before we get into his abilities? Like, do you like his playstyle and kit?
I really do like his playstyle. In a way, he reminds me a bit of Vox because of how high energy his playstyle is,
Yeah.
dashing around the battlefield, following enemies, really forcing them to focus him quickly, or else they'll get deleted. So, in that sense, he's like Vox, and in his abilities, he reminds me more of Celeste because he's mage.
Right,
so.
yeah. The couple games I've played against him, I haven't really got to play much as him, but in live, like he's wrecking people. Like I don't think people like. I think that's the he's maybe not OP, but people just don't know how to play against him yet, and that takes so much time.
I would agree with that. Yes, it takes some time to really understand how his kit flows together, and that's where people might trip up and think that he's OP when actually I and quite a few of the PBE people believe he's in a good place.
Okay, yeah. I heard that the first time he entered the PB, he was like super strong, like broken strong.
Oh, it was absolutely hilarious. His B ability, Drifting Dark, every time it passed over his opponents, no matter how much shield you build, even if you had 2 Aegises, it would take you from 100% health to practically 10%.
Yeah.
Without him even basic attacking. And,
oh man.
And that was probably the most hilarious OP testing phase hero that I've ever seen.
Nice. It had to be fun for a minute at least to play, not to play against, but yeah.
Oh, absolutely! It just had us. It had us shaking our heads, and it was just a competition to see which Samuel could outbe the other one.
Okay.
And destroy the whole team.
Yeah, so that's his B. We'll quickly run through his abilities. The B is that Drifting Dark, where he creates this large field of darkness that slowly drifts forward, damaging enemies who stand in it. And if Samuel also stands inside of it, he heals for a small amount. So really, you kind of want to position this as like, this is my zone. I'm going to fight in it, kind of deal.
You've said it extremely well over there. It's his zone. This ability is meant for him to empower himself, to make it easier for him to do more damage to the enemy team. Mm-hmm. This is really his bread and butter, I feel, because without it, he doesn't pack as much of a punch.
Yeah. His A is called Mason's Verdict. These are his wands. So Samuel fires 2 quick shots from his wand at a target location, and these hit the first thing they hit. So it's kind of like a Sky's forward barrage that if something gets in the way, it's going to stop them. It's not going to pass. So you could, if you're a good support, you could dodge them, but they hurt a lot. Like
They really do, especially under Drifting Dark. Uh-huh. So as I typically play support, so my role as a support would be to block as many of those as possible.
Yeah.
Without dying too early in the fight. That's the real challenge.
Right. And then his ultimate is Oblivion. After a short delay, Samuel summons a phantasm at the target location, which puts nearby enemies to sleep. Enemies affected are unable to move or act. The few games that I've seen Samuel in, I don't even notice the C going off because the Drifting Dark is so giant. I'm like more afraid of that.
Yes, and I would say that is justified because your fear of Drifting Dark in this case is justified because that is really the ability you want to avoid. Without it, the rest of Samuel's kit doesn't work as well. Uh-huh. And the same is true of his ultimate. Especially at this early stage, you have a lot of people misusing the ultimate, not really knowing what to do with it. So the main purpose that I feel for the ultimate is to disable one of the carries of the enemy team,
okay,
and then focus on making it a 2v3. And by the time the other carry wakes up, his team is close to obliteration.
Okay.
But I think people try to use it indiscriminately to maybe try to put the entire team to sleep at once, which it's very rare for that to happen. Only if they really cluster together. And it's just not a very effective strategy. You'd waste it if you didn't know how to focus somebody with it and target them properly.
Right, and we've gotten, like I would say the players collectively have gotten pretty good about not being clustered up with Vox. Like, we all understand. Like, we probably shouldn't all stand next to each other. There's some sort of AoE thing that's going to hurt us all.
Oh, I agree with you. Back from, say, middle of 2015 till now, ever since Vox has grown progressively stronger with each meta, it's been a basic instinct of us old timers, especially, to not stick together as much in team fights.
So I saw Playoff Beard mention like he thinks Glaive is a good counter to Samuel. I would think Lance is probably pretty good too because you could block some of those A abilities, those shots coming in pretty easily. Anyone else you're feeling like for anyone that's struggling with Samuel right now or struggling playing against him?
This is a very good question, and I'll start off by saying that I agree with Playoff Beard in this aspect. Glaive and Lance are both great because of their inherent tankiness. Glaive's high health, Lance's high armor and shield values. They are very good at taking a beating from Samuel while their teammates can position to take him out better.
Yeah.
And in my personal experience, just like with Sky's forward barrage, I would also put Arden as a good counter because his heroic perk enables him to take those ticks of damage from Samuel and keep himself together somewhat while his teammates reposition.
Yeah. But I haven't really got to play him. I can't wait to record some videos and get some more playtime with him because he looks fun, and I think he's just gonna become this staple in the game mainly because his hero design and what he can do. Like Vox, like he's just I feel like he's gonna always be at the top for a while.
Oh yes, I in fact I can't wait to see him being played frequently even in the competitive matches for this very reason.
Nice. So that's Samuel. Pick him up. You got the first week. He's available with Ice, and then after that week, he's available to everyone with Glory. So you can do.
Oh yeah.
And then scrolling down, we'll go over some of the hero balance changes. This patch is oddly small compared to other patches we've had, especially this summer, that have felt like they've been multiple pages. So it's interesting to see such a small update notes after having such a while where Lyra's super strong, Taka's super strong, Finn's pretty strong. Like we feel like there's a lot of strong heroes, and there's not a lot of nerfs in this patch.
No, there really aren't. And we are finally seeing Koshka and Petal coming to the fore. So I think that's something that would make a lot of people happy.
Yeah. So Petal is at the top, so her Munyon health just went up a little bit. And then you can now learn Trampoline at level 1 if you want. And then her cooldown on her ultimate is reduced just slightly. So it's Petal is already pretty strong in 1.20.
Indeed, Petal has been a very popular counter pick for the jungle, especially in competitive games. So I can't wait to see what people are going to do with her now that the AI on her Munions has been improved.
Yeah.
And with her cooldowns reduced, like you've mentioned, and learning Trampoline at level 1 is more of a fun change than anything else. But it's still nice to see Petal get that attention and see her gradually become mainstream again,
right,
in a very good way.
Yeah, so I think you keep playing Petal. We got that Petal Hero Spotlight now too. So
oh wow,
I think you can trust the Petal picks if someone picks it up this update.
That's right. She is no longer a pariah. She is ready to be welcomed back as a full member of the Halcyon family fold.
And then next up was Blackfeather. He disappeared almost completely. The times he pops up though, he was doing a good job because people forgot how to play against him, I think.
Right, yeah.
So we had a small change. His Heartthrob heroic perk, the crystal ratio was bumped up. I think they just kind of wanted to give him a little more crystal value overall. So you got that in the Heartthrob, and then the minion damage on his on point went up. So that's pretty nice for like Battle Royale or the lane Blackfeathers out there.
Yes, we might actually see more CP Blackfeather being played, and he's got a really, really fun style. So I would love to see more CP Blackfeather out there, and I really hope these changes will make CP Blackfeather more prominent.
Yeah, we did get the Serpent Mask. We'll talk about that in a minute. So that kind of benefits Blackfeather a little bit too.
Oh, sure does. Blackfeather, Saw, and Rona will all benefit. Saw has already been pretty prominent, especially in the past 3 patches. So maybe we might even see more Rona and
Yeah.
more weapon BF as well.
Yeah. Do you think this brings? Do you think we'll see more Blackfeather? I don't know. I feel like there's still better picks.
I would agree that there are better picks, and as to seeing more Blackfeather, I would probably say that we won't. But somewhere within me still hopes to see a bit more of him because he is one of my favorite heroes, definitely among the top 5. So
Really nice. Okay.
I would like to see more of him.
Maybe once he gets a good skin, we'll start to really see him.
Oh yeah.
So then there's Kashka, who, man, I thought they were gonna do more with Kashka in the 1.20 update. It seemed like there was big plans for Kashka, and they were not changed as drastically as I expected them to be, as I mentioned on the last update video. But so we didn't see like any Kashka in the last month.
None at all. That was unchanged from the previous patches, which was definitely sad. But even in PBE, we had felt that it just wasn't enough, and that sentiment seems to have caught on even amidst Reddit, where one of the mods, VG Fierte, he's very popular over there. He made a detailed post regarding as to what SEMC can do more about Koshka and what they have done already and how those changes are beneficial or non-beneficial.
Yeah.
So shout out to Fierte. He's really the man. And I would recommend everybody go check out his post, especially if you're a Koshka fan.
Okay. I've been feeling like Kashka and Taka are almost they became very similar characters. Like they're both these assassins that want to jump in. They get, stacks. They use their stacks, they run away, they wait for their cooldowns, they come back in. Like their play styles are so similar. And I think that's hurting Kashka a little bit.
That is, especially with a low. The way she used to be designed earlier, it was suited more to a bruiser playstyle, and so you'd call her an assassin, but you'd play her like a bruiser, so that didn't really work out. So now, as we gradually shift towards her actually being more of a hit and run assassin, I just hope that the numbers and the changes will continue being tweaked so that vision can be made a reality.
Yeah.
And we will actually see more Koshka on the fold.
Yeah, so a few things that got changed. We just got cooldowns got reduced and a little bit more damage. And she got some more health, so she's a little tankier. Not tank Kashka. Tanky, but
not tank Koshka. Oh my goodness. we do not want that ever coming back in any form.
But I don't think she's ready to be played at the high levels. I think you can have fun playing her, and if you can get ahead, like Kashka's always someone that if you get rolling, if you can get 5-10 kills under your belt in the first few minutes of the game, like you're usually good to go.
Absolutely, you're practically unstoppable. That's the very definition of snowball in VG.
And then next was Lyra, who I'm shocked at this small change, but I think it might be enough. So her Bright Bulwark, the duration was reduced by 0.5 seconds.
By 0.5 seconds, indeed, yes. And like you, I was also shocked that there weren't more that there weren't more nerfs. The nerf bat didn't hit her harder, but this might actually make more of a difference than it appears on paper.
Yeah, because her damage is still high for a support, and if I've seen lane Lyra still being played out there.
Yes, I have run into the occasional lane Lyra as well. So maybe with Bright Bulwark not being as restrictive anymore, might be easier to get to her.
Yeah.
Haven't tried that extensively yet, so can't wait to see what happens there.
Yeah, I think she's still gonna be annoying, but maybe not as annoying.
Not decisively or devastatingly annoying to the point where you'll just fly off your lid every time you lose to her.
And then Celeste had a small change to her heliogenesis. Really just her minion damage went up, which is really funny to me because multiple patches or updates in a row, we were seeing damage to minions being reduced on all abilities. Like this was just the thing that kept happening. And now they're coming back and be like, all right, we need to have some more wave clear here.
maybe this is one of those really funny little tidbits in the patch notes where you just read through them and you read the reasoning behind them, and it doesn't quite fit in, especially when you've mentioned something like wave clear being nerfed for so many patches and now being brought back up again.
Yeah.
So it leads me to think that it might have something to do with increasing Celeste's viability in the meta, since she just hasn't been very meta for so many patches now. So
this might bring her back a little bit because she can clear waves so well, and now she's going to even do it better.
now she's going to do it even better. If nothing else, clear waves quickly, get into position behind your teammates, and hope you can survive the onslaught.
Yeah. The next up was Lance, Lance was talked about in the Evil 8 as someone who's constantly picked, but not a very high win rate. I think people like playing Lance a lot. There's a lot of weapon Lance players out there.
Oh yeah.
So do you see that? Lance is fun, but he doesn't necessarily win games. I don't think he's like overpowered or anything. So
I would agree with you there. He's not overpowered, and he is fun to play. And there's a lot to be said about his late game. I think most people are very divided on how effective he is late game.
But the only change he really got was his the damage of his combat roll went up, which I didn't even know it did damage.
Right? It's so easy to forget. Now that you mention it, I had to go back into the app and actually look at the original damage values for combat roll, and then compare them to what has been released with these new patch notes, and I suddenly realized, wow, okay.
Right. It's one of those things, like it's almost like Finn's Hook, where you forget that it's also doing damage, where it's like, wait, they're almost dead. I could roll into them and kill them. Like I always just thought of it as a movement ability, not a damaging ability.
Not a damaging ability, exactly. And that's where the whole concept of using Lance and ability combos, that's where we have to rethink our strategies.
Right.
Because that's how we should actually be playing Lance.
Yeah.
So and if we approach him from that perspective, this change could actually be significant.
Yeah. So I think hopefully now you notice it, because level 3 combat roll does 200 just damage. So it should be not too bad.
That is nothing to scoff at.
And then the last hero was just Kestrel just had her change to her recommended items, went from crystal to weapon, which I don't think they can decide if they want Kestrel to be a crystal or a weapon hero.
Yes, a lot of indecision over here.
Yeah.
But for the vast majority of the player base, this would be a good change. It's just a lot easier to play her weapon. So start off that way, and if you really like her, go crystal.
So those are all the hero changes. Very small. We didn't see any changes to Finn. Nivmet mentioned on the Undersprawl, Finn's someone that they are constantly looking at. That hook cooldown, his Force Accord, is very short.
It is.
So we'll see if Finn. I think Finn's gonna stay kind of top of the meta here in 1.21 though.
Agreed. Finn and Catherine still very much top dogs.
And then I know Fortress. There was just a lot of heroes. Like it was so small that maybe they just felt like 1.20 was good, and just some slight tweaks going into the finals for the Evil 8 and things like that. They just didn't want to like throw too much into it.
That's a very good point. I would have probably done the same thing if I was thinking of competition as well.
Yeah, so save them for the start of the next season for like the big sweeping changes.
That's when a lot of people will be expecting new changes, a new season, new guild progression, whole lot of new hero changes. It probably suits that mood better.
Yeah. I did mention the Serpent's Mask got changed, and so that weapon damage went up from 75 to 85. So that's where I think Black Feather is going to creep back in, and I don't think Saw's going to go anywhere anytime soon either.
Oh no, people are having a blast with them. I haven't seen too many summer party saws though, so
no, really?
If I see more of those, yeah.
That's my favorite summer party skin. Do you have a favorite?
Yes, I'm sorry. Yes, my favorite is also Summer Party Saw by a very small margin over Summer Party Cruel.
Okay, yeah. I think the particles and just his recall animation on Saw, I think is what makes it for me.
Too legit, man.
Yeah.
Too legit.
One bug fix that got changed that I am super excited for, and I know not everyone ran into this, but targeting rings will no longer stay up for items after the item was activated. So I used to have this problem on Adagio, even on Catherine, but on things like Contraption, you would use a flare, and then you couldn't click on anything else because you had to wait for your cooldown of your Contraption so you could unclick it. Whew.
Oh goodness, yeah, that would not be fun at all. Come to think of it, I didn't experience that very often, but I did have that problem in a match I supported Adagio while using Contraption. So
Yeah, so I can't. I'm just glad it's like one of those things where you're like, I can't do any. Like I don't. Yeah, I'm sorry. You have no way
Yep.
to explain it other than just like it's a bug. I don't.
yeah, just playing multiple side faces and hope somebody maybe gets it.
Yeah,
Ooh, thank goodness that one's gone.
yeah. So that's all in these changes. We did see some new skins. We started talking about the Summer Party skins a little bit, but we got to see that Summer Party Kestrel and Finn being available, the last two Summer Party skins.
That's right.
And
And they do look wonderful, don't they?
yeah, I think I haven't played with the Kestrel one yet. I played with the Finn one. He doesn't have like a lot of particles, but I love that he's just like pulling his lifesaver preserver around with him. Like he looks pretty funny.
Everybody's favorite river troll for that very reason.
Yeah. And then we have the Broken Doll Alpha Tier 2, the Northwind Rhyme Tier 3. So I think a good set of skins that are all available at the start of the patch. There's no like wait 2 weeks for this skin and wait 3 weeks for that skin.
Oh, I'm absolutely delighted about that. You know, for people like us who've been playing the game for so long, we remember those days when all skins, 4 or 5 skins if necessary, would be available right on the day of the update itself. So it's good to be going back to that.
Yeah, you like that better over the weekly releases?
Definitely.
Yeah, I think it's nice for anyone that knows. Like, if you wanted that skin that was week 4, you were super disappointed.
And especially when you've got the resources ready for it and you're just ready to give SEMC your money. You just want to show off these cool new effects in game. Let's get to it.
For sure, yeah.
Don't hold back.
So, just thinking of meta and changes here, you think we're going to see a very similar game to what we were seeing in 1.20 with the, Lyra Taka bans, lots of Vox and Finn? Like, is it going to change that much with Samuel being here?
I don't think it's going to change that much. I still expect Lyra, Taka, and Vox to be the top picks or bans. In certain cases, with certain laners like maybe Zio or Old School, among others, who they might pick up Samuel really well, and that might warrant a Samuel ban in some cases.
Yeah.
But otherwise, I expect it mostly to remain the same. And maybe we'll see more Petal as well.
Yeah, I think Rhyme and Alpha may fall off, and Cruel might fall off a little bit with Samuel getting picked up.
Oh, yes. Yeah, all these melee heroes who are particularly vulnerable to the way Samuel combos his abilities. I would say, yes, these 3 are the most vulnerable.
Yeah, so if you're unsure about Samuel and you're in rank queue at all, you might just want to ban him and like just be safer than sorry.
Yeah, absolutely. If nothing else, prevent your own teammate from picking him and playing him poorly.
And messes him up, yeah. Well, that's going to do it. Rain, this was a very quick and short rundown, but thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
So next PB, it's usually a few weeks for a PB, and then hopefully the leaks, there wasn't a lot of leaks this time, so hopefully that continues. Like that seems...
Fingers crossed, I hope the same.
So yeah, I just want to commend all the work that you and Super Evil and all the PvE testers do, because I know it's a lot of people's just time. Like it's not getting paid for it. There's nothing to get out of it rather than just supporting the game.
Indeed, and that's why I want to thank you as well, and all my fellow testers and SEMC as well. It's like a family within a family, and we do the best we can. and hope to carry this game forward to many more great times ahead.
Nice. So if people want to find you, usually you're in line and in Discord, hanging out sometimes. On Twitch every once in a while, right?
Line, Discord, Twitch, and the game. You got that right.
Nice. So keep a lookout for him. I'll be back with episode 116, and we'll probably talk some more about Samuel and how this update's feeling next week. So cheers. Thanks for listening.
Let's get this over with.